Well, welcome to today's Ask the Mayor program. We're on location and we're going to be bringing you the 2008 State of the City Address.
This is Bill Osborne, City Manager in Douglasville. I want to remind you that our City Council meets on the first and third Mondays in each month at 7:30 p.m. at City Hall. There's a legislative work session the preceding Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. at City Hall. We welcome the public. There's always the opportunity for the public to speak during these meetings. But if you can't come to the meetings and you want to keep up with what's going on, catch us on City TV.
Two 2008 was a year of unprecedented challenges for our nation and for all local communities, including the city of Douglasville. In the midst of a volatile and changing economic climate, the city of Douglasville reaffirmed its commitment to our citizens to maintain and enhance our quality of life. This is my 10th State of the City Address to the members of the City Council and to the citizens of the city of Douglasville. As I have prepared for each of these occasions, I have reminded myself of what a wonderful community we have and how each of us has a stake in making sure we retain this quality of life that we enjoy in the city. And retention of our quality of life becomes even more critical, in my opinion, when we face times when we must make important choices and decisions. Certainly, calendar year 2008 was one of those times, and the problems and challenges of last year have continued into 2009. I think each of us recognizes that decisions at the federal level and at the state level have tremendous implications for all of the communities throughout the nation, including the city of Douglasville and also Douglas County. That clearly was true during the last part of 2008, and it remains true today. At the same time, the city and the county governments throughout America should be prepared to be responsible for continuing to provide essential services to you, the citizens, regardless of, or maybe sometimes we might believe in spite of, actions at the federal government level and at the state government level. I know that's what we certainly are doing here in the city of Douglasville. With each of my State of the City addresses, I have taken a slightly different approach. When I delivered the State of the City address on February the 4th, 2008, I presented my report with two subheadings. Each of these were prefaced by a simple statement. The first statement of last year was, "The condition of the city government is strong." And this statement was illustrated by my comments concerning the city of Douglasville's solid financial leadership and its physical stability and its dedicated employees. The second statement was, some projects were completed in 2007, while others were started in 2007 to be completed in 2008. And I divided my report into the areas of transportation, cable television, public safety, parks and recreation, community development, and growth management. For this year's State of the City address, I have divided my comments into 5 areas. These reflect your government's commitment to provide quality service to you, the citizens of Douglasville. These 5 areas are finance, transportation, community and economic development, public safety, and parks and recreation. Let me begin by taking a reflective look at the finances of your city. Douglasville continues to maintain its strong financial position through these volatile and very unpredictable economic times. The city's fiscal year starts on July the 1st. Having completed a review of the first half of fiscal year 2008-2009, which concluded on December the 31st, I can tell you and I believe we are facing some of the toughest economic times of our lives. Let me note, sales tax, which represent 25% of the total city general fund budget, are down 18% from this same period during the previous fiscal year. Building permit revenues decreased by 41% for the final half of calendar year 2008 as compared to the same 6-month time span in 2007. Hotel motel tax revenues are down 13%, and they are continuing to decline. The state of Georgia also is feeling the effect of the steep downturn in the economy, and Douglasville and other local governments realize state assistance for roads and various other projects are beginning to decrease. The Georgia General Assembly in its current session appears to be poised to reverse Governor Perdue's decision to eliminate the homeowners tax relief credit. But this appears to only be a one-year reversal, and as a result, Georgia local governments and school systems in the future will have to find in their respective budgets ways to absorb the removal of this tax credit, or local property tax will have to be increased to make up for the state's termination of this tax credit. I am pleased to report that officials in the city of Douglasville have been enforcing a very sound fiscal policy. We have taken a conservative approach to revenue projections as well as expense projections. This has served us very well and has helped to position the city to be able to weather this current financial storm. Revenues exceeded expenses over the past 3 years, which enabled the city to accumulate a very valuable fund reserve. As of the 1st of February of this year, 2009, the general fund reserve was in excess of $9 million. Of this amount, $2.5 million has been designated as a minimum cash balance in order to make sure we maintain a needed emergency fund of adequate size. Let me share 2 interlocking ways that the city of Douglasville has shown its conservative fiscal nature. First, the city in recent years has seen a steady increase in sales tax revenues, building permit fees, and hotel motel tax revenues, as well as a steady increase in the tax digest. The city chose a pay-as-you-go approach to all government spending. This proved to be a sound fiscal decision when revenues recently took a much sharper decline than originally expected. Second, those local governments who borrowed money for projects with the expectations that the good times would continue to roll now find themselves in fiscal dilemmas. Some of these are having to lay off employees and cut services just to make room in their budgets to make their annual debt payments. Fortunately for the city, it is not strapped down with debt payments. Current debt payments represent less than 1% of the city's total general fund budget. It's only a total of $265,960. This debt is for Fire Station Number 10 and for the Alice Hawthorne Center. In addition to the amount I just mentioned, the city does have other debt, but this debt is paid for by others. For example, the human resource debt is paid for by the state of Georgia. The debt on the West Pines Golf Course is paid for by the operating contractor. The 2008-2009 fiscal year budget was the first in many years to project decreases in the city revenues. But we felt last spring that this was a prudent decision. The economic recession of the recent months proved that I and members of the City Council and the city staff made the right decision. And we had to make tough decisions. We had to remain firm on our pledge not to use any of the $2.5 million reserve fund. Instead, we took a proactive approach to balancing the budget and to keeping it balanced. I believe this approach will continue to keep this city well prepared into the immediate future. In fact, I believe the accomplishments about which I'll report later in this address, as well as the relatively strong financial posture of the city of Douglasville, despite the significant economic downturn I pointed to, can be traced back largely to two primary factors. First, the rigid guidelines placed by the City Council and me on spending within the city government. And second, the excellent execution of these guidelines by the city staff. Now I want to turn attention to transportation. Chapel Hill Road has been a top priority for the city of Douglasville for the past few years, and 2008 was no exception. At the start of the year, the city had a construction company improving 5 intersections on Chapel Hill Road and 1 on Stewart Mill Road. Turn lanes were added to improve traffic, mobility, and safety. Curb and gutter were constructed adjacent to these intersections, and 3 new traffic signals were installed. The work was part of the roads component within the city of Douglasville's 2002 SPLOSH program. Before the end of 2008, the city had received bids for another project on Chapel Hill Road, with this one being from I-20 to Stewart Mill Road. Implementation funds are coming from the city's SPLOSH program and from the Georgia Department of Transportation. Actually, this is the final part of a project started 3 years ago with the city installing the concrete medium on Douglas Boulevard and Chapel Hill Road, as well as doing some lane markings, signal timing changes, street signage, etc., to facilitate the flow of traffic during the holiday period around the mall. Now, with GDOT's financial assistance, additional improvements are to start soon. During 2008, the city acquired the right-of-way needed for Georgia Department of Transportation's project to construct and improve Georgia Highway 5 and Rose Avenue intersections. The Georgia Department of Transportation is expected to start construction this summer. When completed, we'll have a new signalized 4-way intersection with Rose Avenue connecting with Highway 5 and then extending on across Highway 5 to become the new Bright Star Road connector. Construction of this new connector started in late 2008 with funding from the city's general fund budget. It's been 10 years since this project was identified as a way to improve traffic mobility and traffic safety in the Highway 5, Douglas Boulevard, and I-20 area. We had planned to do this project with the roads component funds from the city's 2002 SPLOSH program. However, the tremendous jump in the cost of road construction materials resulted in these SPLOSH funds for this project being used on higher priority projects such as Hospital Drive and the Chapel Hill Road construction. The next area that I would like to report on is community and economic development, which is a critical factor in growing and maintaining a community the size of Douglasville. In 2008, several projects were in the planning stage, others were underway, and still others were completed. Briefly, let me report as follows. I and the City Council in July reactivated the City of Douglasville's Development Authority and appointed a 7-member board. The authority's mission is to bring to this city companies which will provide quality jobs and will help us maintain a stable economic environment. Working with this new authority and the tributary community and the City Council, we rezoned 400 acres for an industrial office park in the tributary area. Entering via a well-landscaped parkway going north from Riverside Drive, this anticipated employment center will be an asset to the tributary community and to the entire city of Douglasville. In the downtown area, a proposed master plan was prepared and unveiled by the well-known firm, the Sizemore Group. A number of residents from neighborhoods adjacent to the downtown business district, as well as business owners and commercial property owners, participated in the preparation and review of this master plan. Now we have a broad direction for the future of the heart of our city, which is the downtown area. In 2009, we will continue moving forward with this master plan. The master plan recognizes the expansion of the city's downtown conference center facilities. During the second half of 2008, the city issued a request for qualifications for firms with an interest in being considered for selection to design a new and much larger downtown conference center. At the end of the year, the city had asked several firms to consider submitting their respective proposals to the city. The selection process for the design firm is continuing today. A couple of small projects were completed in 2008. A stage cover was installed on O'Neill Plaza, and this project won a state award for design from the Georgia Downtown Association. A monument sign for the downtown area was installed across from the City Hall at the intersection of Church and Price Avenue. Also, gateway signage with reader boards were installed at Hospital Drive and Camelton Street, adjacent to Freedom Island, and on Georgia Highway 92 North near the fire station on 92. The city expanded its Convention and Visitors Bureau operation at the northwest corner of the O'Neill Plaza and Broad Street. We moved other offices from this building to the Church Street location after CVB used its hotel-motel tourism tax funds to purchase this property. Expansion of CVB activities included the opening of a new gift shop, Broad Street Gifts. The area of public safety recorded the biggest event in the city during 2008, with the passage of a general obligation bond issue to finance construction and equipping of a new public safety and municipal court building. This facility will contain some 70,000 square feet and should enable us to have sufficient space for the city's public safety operation for the next 20 years. This was a $23 million bond issue, and let me insert here a heartfelt thanks to all the citizens of Douglasville who supported this bond referendum. Prior to starting a voter education program last summer concerning this public safety and municipal court facility, the city received from an engineering firm a set of preliminary plans. These plans were prepared after lengthy discussions with personnel in the police department concerning the department's needs and ways to maximize the building's functionality. After determining no site of sufficient size could be found in or near the downtown area, the City Council bought some 20 acres of land a short distance south of I-20 on Fairburn Road. We believe this is an excellent location and is a good central site which is very accessible for all parts of the city. We know the building will have a quality exterior appearance as well as being citizen-friendly inside the building and in the public parking area. Late in 2008, the city advertised for interested engineer and design firms to respond to a request for qualifications. We had a tremendous response, and early in 2009, we invited 12 firms to consider submitting to us their respective proposals for the final design and subsequent construction and equipping of the facility. That process is continuing today. The police department had a very busy year in 2008. The downturn in the economy was a significant factor in the increase in certain types of crimes. The fifth and final area I identified at the start of this report was parks and recreation. In 2008, the city took a fresh look at what might be the future appearance and look of Hunter Park. And as we moved into 2009, we were starting the process of preparing a total park renovation. But before I speak further about Hunter Park, let me note that in 2008 the city completed improvements to our newest park, Fowler Field, which is down on Chapel Hill Road. As you may know, this park was donated to the city of Douglasville by the Fowler family. Its primary focus continues to be on soccer, and we have made improvements to these facilities. Also, the park now is equipped with a 2,500-foot walking track, a new playground, lighting, and concession area, and also has a handicap-accessible conference station. The city cooperated with the developer of the adjacent residential subdivision on installation of curb and gutter and the parking lot facility that serves this park. Now, turning back to Hunter Park, let me note that in 2008 the City Council worked with our staff to identify what might be done in this park using the remaining funds from the Parks and Recreation component of the 2002 Splash program and what might be done in the future on land off Bright Star Road, which the city acquired using money from its own general fund. Detailed construction plans should be completed this summer, and construction should start immediately after Labor Day. The approved concept plan includes a new community center for multi-purpose use. Our Parks and Recreation Department offices will also be in this building. In addition to new ball fields, which will feature a 7-field complex with a central service core and other new facilities for the first time, Hunter Park should have adequate parking. More than 900 parking spaces are planned. A new tennis complex will be installed, and one of the ball fields will be for the special needs population use. Let me point out that in 2004, the city advertised for bids to renovate the entire Hunter Park facility. However, we rejected the bids because the low bid was some $1.4 million higher than our available funds from the 2002 Splash referendum. In 2008, we began work with a different consulting firm on Hunter Park. We had two primary directives for that new firm. First, we wanted a layout which would make recreation activities function more effectively. And second, we wanted to be sure that the plan could be implemented without the expenditure of additional money on site preparation and on drainage system work. In 2008, entry signage was installed at Fowler Field, at the West Pines Golf Club, in Davis Park, and Hunter Park. Before concluding the State of the City address, I want to focus on one other topic which I believe to be very important. When I became mayor 10 years ago, one of my goals for the city was televising of all city council meetings and the use of the city's own TV station to provide information to you, the citizens of Douglasville. This proved to be a very difficult and exclusive goal, but I and members of the City Council did persevere. At the start of 2007, the city moved forward with plans to achieve this goal. Kelly Hunter was hired to be the city's communication director. The necessary preliminary work was done and the necessary arrangements were made, and City TV was launched in August of 2007 with a 3-hour time block on Comcast Channel 25. And while I believe this 3 hours of programming enabled the city to present a quality product to you, we never lost sight of our original goal of having a 24-hour station. In 2008, we achieved a significant part of our goal. In June, City TV began providing a web stream service from the city's website and mycitytv.com on a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week basis. Then in October, City TV launched a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week cable television service on the cable network serving the city's tributary area. Late in 2008, arrangements were finalized with Comcast for the same service elsewhere in this community. We now are providing this service on Comcast Channel 22, and since we have achieved this goal via Channel 22, the city no longer is using Channel 25. Our thanks to the entire city staff, Comcast, and the Georgia Municipal Association for all of their assistance. In conclusion, let me thank you for the opportunity to present this State of the City address. As mayor, I always look forward to making these annual reports to you so that you can receive a recap of key events which have occurred in your city during the last year. I hope each of you have a wonderful 2009. Well, thank you for joining us on today's Ask the Mayor program. It's always a pleasure for me to bring you a State of the City address talking about our wonderful city. Join me next time for another edition of Ask the Mayor.